What's up everyone, I am the Kaiju no Kami, and today I'm going to be taking a look at 1993's Ultraman, the Ultimate Hero, also known in Japan as Ultraman Powered. The production history behind The Ultimate Hero seems to be far more interesting than the show itself. After the success of Towards the Future, Tsuburaya wanted to continue their string of international shows and set their sights on America to launch the country's own Ultraman series. Thus, they teamed up with a brand new startup studio known as Major Havoc Studios, whose name should have probably been assigned to stay clear of. Apparently, Major Havoc Studios promised to produce the show as long as Tsuburaya financed it, only for various executives to use a vast majority of those funds to take grandiose vacations, leaving only a fraction for the show itself. This led to tight filming schedules, employees having to assume multiple roles on set, dangerous situations for suit actors, and a wide array of additional problems. Suffice to say, it was major havoc. The worst part is that in the end, the show could not even air on American television due to Tsuburaya having to pay every actor anytime an episode were to air. I could spend another hour talking about the show's rancid production as opposed to looking at the series itself, but instead you can read all about it on Ultrablog DX, as Triblast23 has written an extensive article on the history of the show. I'll have a link to the page in the description below. It's quite a fascinating story and makes you wonder how this show even managed to happen at all. Well, whatever the case may be, let's kick this review off by taking a look at the heroes. Ultraman, the Ultimate Hero, features a military organization by the name of Wiener. I mean Winner. It's Winner, not Wiener. Winner. Winner stands for World Investigation and Network Response Team and is comprised of 5 generically cliché members. We have Commander Russell Edlin, played by Harrison Page.
I want to be in the air and on our way to South America in 5 minutes. People, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's move it.
Sandra Gibbard portrays Winner scientist Teresa Back.
The only way the rover can get an exact measurement is to get within 800 meters of the target.
Next up is Rob Roy Fitzgerald's wisecracking expert marksman Rex Sanders, who loves to channel his inner Bill Paxton from Aliens.
Oh man, these stingers are doing nothing but giving that thing a bad rash.
I'm a gunner. If they're not gonna fire, what am I supposed to do?
Talk about a heavyweight fight. Woohoo!
We've also got the top pilot in the organization, Julie Young, played by Robin Bliley.
This sure ain't honey, but it's not paint either.
And last but not least is the jack of all trades, the Japanese-American Kenichi Kai. Kai may look familiar to you as actor Kane Kosugi was Ninja Black in Kaku Ranger.
Beck told me how you handled Hawk 2 last night. Thanks. You saved my life.
Furthermore, being the only Asian in the group, you can pretty much guess that his only purpose is to become the host for the show's Ultraman, who is appropriately voiced by Kane's father's show.
I can't exist on your planet without a host. In order to fight them, I need to merge with your body, but I can only appear for 3 minutes at a time.
Kai becomes Ultraman because he entered Ultraman ship first, and the Red Titan asked nicely to use his body. Yep, that's it. He didn't have to perform a heroic act or anything. The Ultraman didn't accidentally kill him either. He's just handed the keys of the kingdom because reasons. As Ultraman, he stands around doing hand signals? Or something? Even these guys seem confused. He's got a beam attack. He flies. Shot. And his color timer sometimes works. As for the rest of Winner, they don't do much at all during the series. We do get to meet Beck's former teacher, who believes she is wasting her talents at Winner, only to naturally be proven wrong by the end of the episode.
I thought you were just wasting your time here, and I'm very glad to find out that I was wrong.
Is that an apology?
Sign of respect.
As I mentioned before, Sanders loves to whine and make jokes about the situation, some of which are delivered very poorly. Though to be fair, that does kind of work in the show's favor as the jokes are delivered so horribly they're really, really funny. Which is one way you can really just sum up the show as a whole. It's so bad, it's good.
Ultraman.
Ultraman.
Oh, he sure doesn't look like a woman.
Gosh.
Young seems to be there more for looks rather than intellect, although we do get an episode where we meet her sister, niece, and learn that her brother-in-law, Jameer Miller, is an astronaut who disappeared some time ago while on a space mission. As with Fitzgerald, which once again can bring in laughs with a line like this.
Whoa, I'm out of here. Whoa, I'm out of here. Oh my god. Finally, Commander Edlund is... the token black dude? I mean, I know it sounds wrong to say it that way, but that's pretty much all I've got. We don't know anything about this guy, what his life is like outside of Winter, nor how he even became the commander. He's just the commander because he's black. Sadly, like with Edlund, there just isn't too much to talk about as far as Winter is concerned. They don't do anything to stand out as none of the actors are given any good material to work with, but they are adequate at what they do. I can say that I do think Winter is at least better than Tak was in Ace, as at least they try to take situations seriously instead of writing it off as a hallucination or something. It's just a shame that the vast majority of their banter comes off hysterical rather than genuine as intended.
I'm getting some strong readings. I'd say we're pretty close.
What was your first clue, Sherlock?
Still, they work for what they are, and as I said, they are effective when it comes to accomplishing their goals. Although, their character shields are to the 90s extreme!
It only hurts when I laugh.
Well, at least you can keep busy. What am I supposed to do?
Strong with the characters, the god mode is. The show is also littered with guest stars in each episode, with some of them being pretty notable ones, from Jeffrey Combs, who plays a Steven Spielberg-esque movie director.
Guyana. Lost World of the Monsters is a title for this documentary. Yeah, I like it too.
Jaime Gomez is a former colleague of Kai's.
You know, when I started the academy, I knew I was the oldest one, and I knew it was a long shot. Nobody should have their dream ripped away like me.
Being colorblind doesn't mean anything.
To Tracy Walter.
Bob? Done.
There's also... Hold on a minute. Is that Henry Cannon?
This planet will become a dead zone if we don't do something. We have got to weigh all the options.
No shit! That is Henry Cannon. Power Ranger fans, you should know him as Principal Mr. Kaplan. I have never seen him in another role outside of Power Rangers, so this is kind of cool. The Monsters and Aliens. Every monster and alien featured in The Ultimate Hero is pretty much just an updated version of an original 1966 monster or alien. That doesn't mean it isn't cool to see them, as I have to say that I like a lot of the redesigns, with the most significant one going to Red King, for he is actually red. What an ingenious idea. My favorite redesign probably goes to Kemlar. The only design I'm not 100% sold on is Jamila's. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Jameer Miller's. It makes sense as to why he looks more like an astronaut that crossed paths with H.R. Giger, but he doesn't resemble his original counterpart at all. In fact, if someone were to show me a picture of him without telling me what it was, I would have never known compared to all the other aliens and monsters featured in the show. Nevertheless, it is kind of a cool design, just not a design I would really want for Jamila. I guess it should come to no surprise that the designs themselves are quite good given they were done by Shinji Higuchi, Toshio Miike, and Mahiro Maeda. Unfortunately, there's only 3 aliens in the entire series, which is a shame as most of it's just brainless beasts. Then again, even the aliens are pretty much brainless as we never see them converse with one another. We've got the Baltan in the premiere.
Sam, what the hell is it?
I think it's a job for the winter team.
And then that is pretty much it until Durako and Zetton appear in the last 2 episodes. What's worse is that both creatures are now creations of the Baltan, and Zetton doesn't even speak, which is extremely disappointing.
You had one job, Shao, and all it was to hear Zetton, Zetton, Zetton.
Now, if you are familiar with the show, you might be saying, but Kaiju, Dada is in this series. Yes, correct. Dada is indeed in this show. However, this version of Dada is actually a man-made computer virus, not an alien. I have no idea why they chose to do this, but they did. I'm not a fan of it. Dada is one of my favorite alien races from the Ultra series, and turning him into some lackluster computer virus is very disheartening as he deserved better. It also doesn't help that the entire episode isn't exactly great and shows why corporations are full of scumbags who care more about their monetary bottom line than people's lives.
We have captured major viruses before. The opportunity to study artificial computer intelligence is far too great to let pass by because we're not willing to take a small chance.
The effects add music. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself, as the effects and music leave a lot to be desired. Except for one episode that featured a couple of good-looking buildings, the miniatures are quite lackluster. They're passable, but even the cheap budgets of the Showa era produced better-looking structures. Most look like the cardboard they were probably cut from. However, that's not the worst part of the show. The worst aspect comes from the uninspiring fight scenes that are borderline laughable and leave you pondering why they even bothered to make an Ultraman series in the first place. The suits themselves were made out of materials that caused them to be brittle and too heavy for the suit actors to move in, which meant the fight scenes came off as clumsy, if they happened at all. For example, one episode featured what is supposed to be a fight between Red King and Durako, only for it to play out like this. Ugh. Even the Ultraman suit was unbearable and featured exposed wiring for the eyes to light up in whenever the color timer went off, which sometimes would burn the actor's face with even the possibility of setting the costume aflame. The Dada suit cut off the blood circulation in the wearer's legs, while the heavy head strained the actor's shoulders. All of this meant that no one was able to give the performance they should have been able to, and as such, the monsters in our titular hero all appear as stiff, slow-moving suits rather than actual living, breathing beings. Regrettably, the music fares no better. The soundtrack was composed by Toshihiko Sahashi, who has given us such great music found in the likes of Car Ranger, Kamen Rider Kuga, Agito, Hibiki, Full Metal Panic, Big O, and Gundam Seed, yet here, it's nothing more than serviceable. There are a couple of tracks I do like, which include this one.
Long-range sensors show they're moving fast, sir. We can't wait much longer.
but overall, there's nothing memorable in the slightest. The opening theme is just some generic orchestral synthetic mix that sounds bland and uninteresting. It's as if they were trying to bore the audience so terribly before the show actually started because they didn't want them watching it due to how dismal the production was all around. The last episode has a different opening, and while it isn't any better, it at least doesn't want to make you tear your ears off. As for the ending theme, it's even worse. It may be the worst piece of music from the entire show.
Go to the next one.
The episodes.
Each episode found in this series is kind of like watching an American remake to an original Ultraman episode.
They're not even remotely good when compared to their Japanese originals. While on their own, a few of them do have some redeemable qualities, even if it isn't many. I can't really say I have a favorite episode, but I'm going to go with the one I had the most fun with, which would be the 5th episode titled Monstrous Meltdown. The episode starts off with the Twilight Zone's Bill Mummy having his truck break down, and when he calls in to get a replacement part, he says this.
He's got a problem with that. Tell him to come out here and fix it himself.
Unbeknownst to him, it is indeed his boss who shows up to give him the part he needs.
Well, I heard you wanted me to come fix it myself.
I'm sorry, sir. It's really not exactly what I meant.
Here, pop this in. Get rolling as soon as you can, huh?
Okay, that was legitimately funny.
The ground falls beneath him, taking Bill in the truck with it.
Oh my God!
Winner are called in to investigate, which sets off a battle between Winner, the boss, and the head of the construction company digging for uranium deposits.
It was a sinkhole, okay? There's nothing suspicious going on here.
It turns out the uranium is actually a monster named Gabara, who nearly causes a nuclear meltdown at the boss's power plant.
The temperature is 80% critical.
Cooling systems have shut down. Core will explode in 2 minutes.
The acting is utterly priceless in this one.
It's a monster! Everybody get out of here! Run! Quick! Run!
Bad idea.
And that is probably why it ended up being the most fun time I had with the entire show.
And I must admit, the nuclear power plant miniature is actually not that bad.
As for my least favorite episode, that honor goes to episode 7, The Fires Below. In this one, Zambolar, a monster whose body temperature is so high it sets everything he comes into contact with ablaze, rampages through a series of forests. Some boring ass stuff occurs, Ultraman eventually shows up to stop the monster, and...
well, someday he's gonna stop Zambolar. Anytime now. Now. Now!
What's he doing?
I don't know! You tell me! Even the cast seems pretty puzzled as to what exactly he is doing. Or isn't doing. Is this a new marketing campaign to help prevent forest fires? The good guy is just going to stand there and stare at the bad guy until he gets so bored he no longer wants to set fires to anything? Why aren't you doing anything? Do something! Something! I guess thoughts and prayers do actually work. Even Zambuller's like, you do know that this episode is on a limited time span, right? I'm out.
Shut up!
Now Ultraman's all like, well, my job here is done.
Shut up!
But you didn't even do anything. Even Sanders is left stupefied by this whole scenario.
Man.
Oh my god. I can't do this anymore. Oh my god. Ultraman, the Ultimate Hero, is just a terrible show all around. Oh my god, I can't take this seriously. This show is just laughably bad. Like, really bad. I'm going to just give this series a generous 2 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. I mean, that's really the best I can give it, and that's kind of... it isn't like a 1 because I did have fun with how bad it was. As I've said multiple times, it's like so bad it's good, but I don't know. Yeah, this show is just, I don't know. If you're curious, check it out. If you're not, avoid it. Go watch Towards the Future instead. That's a better show, even though that wasn't exactly stellar, but ugh. I would still watch this over Ultra 7X and the Origin Saga, so I guess there's that. Until next time, bye.
I still find it hard to believe he's Ultraman. I mean, he's kind of so small.